Coaches, what's up? Thomas here from MyCoach Ai, and I have a pretty exciting video for you guys today because today I want to go over a bit of a mini workshop on building programs. So live on this video today, I am going to be building a quick program together with you guys, not in terms of being fully ready to send out to a client, but in its basic structure so that you have the right idea of how to build programs, what our program builder looks like, and most importantly, probably the types of workflows, best practices that you should take into account when you go to build your own programs inside of MyCoach AI as well. So let's get started right away. We're going to go to the program section here in the top left corner in our storage drive area. And instead of going into an existing one, we're just going to press create program and start a brand new one. But before I go into there, I do want to let you know that programs are used in many different ways and are very variable. And the way that we're going to be building them today, for you, it really should depend on the way that you leverage programs. Because, for example, it is important to note that programs can be stacked on top of each other, meaning that if you want to build a very complete program, it doesn't all have to be contained within the same program. If you want to build workout splits in one program and then build content flows in another and then stack them on top of each other on a client schedule, that's a totally valid workflow that you should absolutely do that way if desired. We will kind of be leaving that out of this video because I want to show you within a single program kind of all the different capabilities that you have. But keep that in mind, right? The way that you build programs and how complete they are and how many different types of items are on them really depends on the way that you leverage programs best. And we have other videos on that too. But for now, let's go into the program builder to create a workout. And we are going to, first of all, start with the other details before building the actual program. So we got to give it a name. I'm just going to call this workshop program. Let's do it like that. A description, of course. Now, keep in mind that both the name and the description are not going to be visible for your clients. Okay, this is purely for your reference. So you can, of course, keep your programs apart on what you build where, descriptions of it so you know exactly what you build. Also, be sure to work with tags. This is really useful if you are going to be working with quite a few different programs down the road. A good example is, I just mentioned layering and stacking different programs. If you do that, you may want to call or tag one program by workout split while tagging another program by educational material, right? And that way you can very easily assign them and keep them apart. Now, difficulty is something also purely for your reference as a coach, and you can even assign a color, which again helps with stacking and layering programs because the items on the client schedule will show the color of the program those items are linked to, which is really useful too. Now, the last thing here is the start program on date. This does not really matter at all for when you go to assign the programs, okay? So please don't think that me adding in here that we're going to start this program on a Monday means that always this program has to start on a Monday when we assign it to a client. That is not the case. It purely references the builder that we have right here. Okay, so as you can see now it starts on a Monday. If I select it starts on a Sunday, it shifts it. That is just for the ease of building the program in the way that it makes the most sense in your head, but it does not matter for when we go to assign it. Day one is always going to be day one of the program whenever you assign it first. Cool. So that's important to note. Now let's get into the program builder, and we have the day view, the week view, and the month view that allows us to, kind of a broader overview of everything going on, which is personally what I like to work in most, because it still allows you to see all the items, but see the complete structure much easier. What I'm also going to do is go into the top left here and click this button to slide in, the menu on the left, giving us a full screen view of our program builder, which is really nice and convenient if we're going to be spending some time in here. Now it's time to start adding some items. So of course, you have a ton of different options here. That's the cool part about MyCoach AI. Our program builder is not just, hey, here's a workout split that you can build. It can be a lot more than that, and for good reason. Now, you will notice on all of these different days, these little plus buttons, right? That is what we are going to be using to adding different items. And when we click on one, we can immediately see how many options there are. Workouts, exercises, meals, videos, files, plain text, so a lot of the content pieces that are in your libraries. Then we have progress metrics used for tracking items. We have even forms that we can schedule out in terms of automations, and we can even add smart actions, which is things like automated messages, dripping out content, and payment requests. So a ton of options. What I recommend doing, given that we have so many options, is to work your way from the most important recurring big structured things of your program, then working down to the details. So what does that mean? Well, I mean, probably one of the most important things you may build in a program, let's say this is for a workout split, is the workout split itself. So scheduling out certain workouts on certain days of the weeks, deciding when those are going to recur in what phases, and then working down to the details, such as maybe at the very end, it's like individual auto messages that are one-off, that happen on very specific days at specific times, that are very specific items. So start from those bigger pieces and work your way down to the details. That's absolutely the best workflow, and you're going to kind of see why that is as well. So let's start by doing that, the workouts, right? Let's say I want to build a basic workout split here. Just for the sake of the video, I am just going to be selecting a few random ones, but of course through here, right, you select your workouts on certain days. You can search within the AI library or your own, and then you select from that list the workout template that is already in your workouts section. So I'm going to just add in 3 workouts, very, very simple here. There we go. And let's say this is a 3-day workout split. Keep things very simple. Now, of course, you have the full ability to edit these workouts right here on the schedule, which is really useful, right? You can just open them up, click on here, make any adjustments to reps, sets, weights, or even exercises. And when you go to add it to the day, it saves it. It doesn't adjust the template. It just changes it for this program, which is really useful. In a second, after I make some more weeks here, I'm going to show you why that is very useful. But what we can do now is, generally speaking, these are not exercises that just happen, workouts that happen just once within this first week. Likely you work in phases, or maybe, workouts recur on certain days. Let's say that this is a workout split, these 3 days here, that recurs for the first 4 weeks. So it's going to be consistent. Okay, awesome. What we can do then is just copy paste them, right? What you can do is for individual items, you can copy them right here and paste them to other days. Absolutely. In this case, I can also just copy the entire day because there's nothing else on it. So I'm just going to do that and copy them down to the next 3 weeks. Do the same here. Copy this one, paste them down to the next weeks. Copy this one and paste them down to the next weeks. And now within literally seconds, we have created a 4-week, 3-day workout split. Super easy and convenient. Now back to being able to edit them, this is where things like progressive overload come in super easily. So I recommend first setting up these workouts, setting up the basic templates of them, not editing yet. But once you have the phase or the workout set up, you can now go through and say, hey, on week 1, we're going to start with 4 sets of 8 on the single arm cleans. But actually in week 2, it is going to turn into 4 sets of 12. Let's up it a little bit, and we're going to make it a little bit more heavy. And you simply do that. This is completely valid. We'll save it as is. And so it's very easy for you to go through the lists, make any progressive overload that you need to, and don't constantly mess with different templates, right? So our basic workout split is set up, and maybe there's a lot more that we want to add in. Now, I'm going to skip over a few parts just for the sake of this video, because all of these content pieces are pretty much the same in the way that you add them. These are all little items that end up on sort of a to-do list for the client to complete per each day. And you can do that with all of your content libraries, right? So individual exercises and meals and files and plain text, all these things you can add on here as little items for those days. For now, I'm just going to add some videos, right? Because that is a common one that coaches love to use within programs. Give it a little task to watch a certain video. Maybe it's on nutrition. Maybe it's on hypertrophy, right? But what we can do is schedule out maybe for some empty days where there's no workouts, right? Keep clients engaged. Go and add in some videos, some educational stuff. Can be a really cool way to spice up your programs, keep clients engaged, etc. So as you can see, we've added a couple videos sporadically throughout the program, and these are more like one-off items, as we discussed, that we're working towards the details. And you can do this with all of these different content pieces that we discussed, right? Now comes a very important one, the progress metrics. This is any tracking, right? So of course, this may already happen within your check-ins, and macros may get tracked through the nutrition features, but through your programs as well, you can essentially set out little to-do items for clients to track certain data. So maybe on Sunday, every Sunday, you want to add a quick progress metric where people go and on the scale real quick, right? So let's say just weight in pounds is the metric we look up. And on Sunday, it's going to be a task to complete that. I'm going to copy this down to the next 4 weeks as well. And now that's just a task that's set out that clients are going to be completing if they are on this program. So really useful. You can work with these a lot. There's really anything that you can track, and you can place a bunch of them on a single day as well if you want to. And of course, that is outside of other features like the check-ins, which are also really awesome for tracking data. Then we get to one of the last parts. We can, by the way, also add forms. This is not something I'm going to do on this program, but it can be extremely useful. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, let's do add a quick form just to show you the capability of it. But forms are unique in the way that they are used for upsells, feedback collection, even onboarding, but that's outside of this discussion. But they're fully mandatory to complete once they prompt. So let's say that after this phase, right? So we have our first 4 weeks here. I want that as soon as that phase ends, that a certain form prompts, and it may be, let's see if I have one here, um, month one in review, right? So this is a form that essentially asks the client for feedback and kind of looks back at the past month and how things have been going with training and nutrition. And I'm going to schedule that for right after that first phase of 4 weeks. This is going to auto prompt for the client as soon as they open their app up next on day 29 of the program, and immediately they will have to complete it. It's completely forced. So this is a really cool feature, and definitely make sure to use that. Then we get to one of the last parts, which is the smart actions, right? And these are some automations. These are a little bit more in detail. Now, very, very useful, because if you want, you can work with certain payments, for example. If you want to set payment requests on programs that automatically prompt for clients, you can do that through here. Another really cool way is to work with content groups and dripping them out, right? So different than these individual content pieces that we scheduled here, what this allows you to do is actually drip out groupings of content. So you can actually use this to make complete mini courses and everything within the system directly. Say that on Wednesday the 10th here, I want to go and allow a certain content. Say it is Nutrition 101, a little educational course. I'm going to allow that on Wednesday the 10th. They get 2 weeks to review that. And then on Wednesday the 24th, I'm going to go to that same automation, add a remove content group. I'm going to hit this switch to remove access and select that same content group. And what I've done now is set up an automation that gives clients access to Nutrition 101 on the 10th day of the program, waits 2 weeks, and then removes their access on the 24th day of the program. So you can already see how you can do this with multiple groups flowing throughout your programs, dripping things out, giving and taking permission for those groupings. Really awesome feature. Please do use this to your advantage. It's one of the coolest, uniquest things that we have in our system in terms of educational material and being able to provide it. Okay, so those are some of the main functionalities. We ran through this pretty quickly, and of course, there's so much you can do and a lot of creativity you can put into these programs given all of the different options that you have, all of the different content types, all of the different automations, all of the different styles that you can work with. And again, all of this is editable. If you want to go in, and I just realized I even missed auto messages, one of the most important ones. I already mentioned it at the very beginning, but auto messages through the smart actions are an option as well. Send an auto message, choose the time it sends out, say like 9 a.m., and you simply schedule that to automatically go out to anyone who is on this program, which is really cool because I recommend heavily using these, maybe even multiple a day. I've seen coaches do that and having great success with it because you can link these to the experience. And that goes back to what I was saying at the beginning of why you should keep these towards the end of your program building, is because you want to have the basic structure of your program. You want to see what workouts happen when and when you scheduled out certain content. And then based on that, you can really see the client experience come to life and supplement that with automated messages. Talk to them about their workout coming up the next morning. Hey, you're going to hate me. Make sure you're well hydrated. Go and do this workout, right? Awesome. Hey, I just put out a video for you. It's about nutrition, and I think it's really going to help you out. Make sure you watch it, right? Send out these little auto messages all the time. Super great way to keep clients engaged. They go out fully automatically. One of the last, but definitely not one of the least features. So once again, full client experience. That's what we're setting up here. And programs can be a lot more complete than what we are looking at right now. Obviously, the intention is just to make a basic structure. But once again, a ton of options. Make sure you work from the most important, the biggest staples of the program, then down to the details and individual items. Keep the client experience in mind at all times because you can constantly see kind of what they will be going through. Make sure to also regularly save, which is not really something I did in this video, which I should have, and it is a habit that you should be building, is to generally often click the save button while you are building just to make sure no progress gets lost. And then when you're done building and you've saved it, you have it now stored in your program section and you're ready to start using it. Really variable. There's a ton of ways to work with them, keeping them connected to a group of clients or using as a template for a specific client. But that's a topic for another video. And we actually have that video, so check it out on our YouTube channel. But that is pretty much how our program builder works. And I hope that gives you some good ideas of the workflows and all the capabilities that you have with the programs. It's a really cool feature, very unique, and I hope that was helpful. Now, if you want to know more about MyCoach AI in general or try this out, please go have a look at our website. The link is in the description below. We have a ton more to show you, so I'm excited to do so. And perhaps I'll see you in the next YouTube video.